do we perpetuate this colorism by feeding it to the industry and the industry exploiting what we are feeding to them?
We don't fight against it.
I think, in my opinion, it happens when we fight for equality. Because when all the light skinned people were getting the roles, the black skinned people was like, dark skinned people was like, you're not giving it to me because of colorism. And then when the dark skinned people started getting the roles, what we don't realize is how accepting we are of whatever is popular in social media, in the public eye. We don't have our own filters. We are so influenced by what is popular in the world. What are we attracted to that's not popular?
I think that's hard to figure out because it's like a circular reasoning. We feed it into the system recognizes that it's profitable. They therefore exploit it. We see it on the big screen and the marketing and the advertising and the branding. And then we believe that that's what's happening as a representation of our society. And then we start imitating it and perpetuating that idea, that which we've given to them in a small scale, that they've expanded into a large scale. And then it becomes what we think we are. So how do you get out of this cycle?
Being genuinely independent and not a follower of what's popular. A lot of people, in my opinion, follow what's popular because they don't want to be the outcast. They don't want to look like they're not with what's going on and what's new and what's popular. Like, everybody wants to be in with whatever is in. When church was in, everybody was going to church. When protesting is in, everybody want to jump in on the new movement and the hashtag this and the hashtag that. We've become a society of followers. And I think the only way to combat that is to know yourself enough to stand on your genuine self, regardless of whether it's popular or not.
So how can you distinguish between yourself and what you've been fed as yourself? Because that's hard to do if you don't know yourself outside of what you've learned you're supposed to imitate.
In my opinion, you got to unplug and spend more time figuring out what motivates me, what excites my passions, and what causes actually get me inspired. And you got to take some time to get to know yourself. Self-reflect, unplug, and stop listening to everybody else tell you what you should and shouldn't be, and start listening to your own reactions to situations, circumstances, and experiences so that you can know you.
Well, I agree with Danelle on that one because I was a product of colorism. We grew up in the era of that, where we were chastised and made fun of if our woman wasn't fine, especially if she wasn't yellow bone, or she hadn't had good hair, or she wasn't fair skinned. You know, we have to reprogram ourselves, and it's a lot of us are a little late in age for that, and I admit it. And I was trying to bring a picture up of what Cat Williams was talking about when it was talking about colorism, even in Hollywood, because of all the popular comedians, and they all had light-skinned, pretty-haired wives.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere.
All of them.
I remember saying that.
Every last
I remember seeing that photo.
And I was like, wow. I didn't even realize that. Even you go to the Kardashian effect, how many basketball players outside of LeBron have ebony wives? Yeah. Ebony as in dark skin or wives that are of a, ebony color.
I know we can observe it. I'm sure if we pulled up some stats, we'll be able to prove it. But I know we can all see that because of the advertising of lighter is better in society throughout the many years that we grew up in, and then even our parents had to experience, they showed this idea that this is what you're supposed to have. This is what's acceptable. Therefore, that's what everybody wants. So you get all of these men and women that seek these types of lighter skinned people, and then they breed with them. We have offspring. We got kids with these people, which produce more lighter skinned kids. So now to this day, I think we've definitely become a lot lighter in shade as far as the overall as a race, because we've actually breeded that type of person. That's what we got.
It's obvious. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Steph Curry is Steph Curry because his daddy messed with a light skinned woman. CJ Stroud, his daddy dark. His mama light skinned. I mean, like, you got to look at what's going on. Like, this is a product. We are products of our environment. This is what we were taught in the 90s and in the early 2000s. If you are successful, go and get you the lightest skinned woman you can, if not a white woman, and then we accept you. We will accept you.
I know we had this conversation before. So is that a part of Black people American dream?
It's a part of what is labeled as success for a Black man. If you are,
I would have to agree with that. I remember talking to my grandparents. I'm not going to say what side of my family told me this, but my grandmother told me that the reason why she married my grandfather is because he was light-skinned and she knew her kids would have good hair and they wouldn't be too dark.
Come on now. Dang.
Well,
I've heard that story too many times.
Too many times.
Too many times. Listen to me. I got two stories and they're going to be real short. I got Tommy.
Yep.
Middle school. Alicia, I won't say her last name because I don't want to put her out there like that. But she was a new girl and she was very pretty, light skin, very, very long hair. When I remember the first day she came to school, her hair was dead. I mean, dudes was on her. It was girls who didn't like her because of that. And they was plotting on her because of that. She said something in class and they were beefing with her, even though she wasn't even beefing with nobody.
Right.
They were like, say something else.
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna jump you after school. And she said something else because she wasn't no punk.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting here like, you don't know what you done got. These girls don't like you because you pretty. And the dudes is like, man, you seen that girl, Alicia, the new girl? She finding them up. She cute. She beautiful, man. Every dude's trying to get her. But guess what? She was a threat to the competition. And the competition was of color. And they ain't like that. So guess what they did? They beat her ass. I remember that. Her mom was there. She was trying to get her to fight back. Mm-hmm. But they were jumping that girl. Mm-hmm. And she had to get in front and dudes had to like cover her up because the girls was jumping her because she was pretty. Not because she was talking shit. Not because she was going back and forth. She was real quiet. She was the new girl, but she was pretty and she was yellow bone.
And that was all that was needed to hate them.
That was all that was needed. That was all that was needed. Damn. High school, two stories. The second story, high school. I believe the girl's name was Keisha. She was dark skinned. She been running track probably since she was I don't know. But that girl had a body on her. Lord. And she was dark skinned. Every dude in the school was trying to get at that girl because she was developed. She was athletic. She had legs, breasts, all that. She had the body. But guess what? She only dated light-skinned dudes. I don't care how handsome you were. If you wasn't light-skinned, the highest of highest yellow dude, she was not messing with you. And she made it known. I only date light-skinned dudes.
Now, my brother is lighter than I am. And he has publicly said, I like dark-skinned girls. People expect me to like light-skinned girls because I'm light-skinned, but I'm attracted to the opposite. I'm attracted to dark-skinned girls. And that's why I asked the question, is it trying to feel something that you're not when you are only attracted to the opposite of what you are?
Great question.
That's what I was thinking of when you guys were talking about your experiences with your family and then Cutter with yours at the school. You can't control what you like or don't like. It doesn't work like that. You know, that feeling, those desires, you don't control that. That's inside of you. And can we influence it? Yeah. But once it's influenced, you can't uninfluence it. It's in there. So, for example, if you like somebody light skinned, are you supposed to say, hey, I don't really like them or think that they pretty, even though I know in my mind that I feel like that they pretty and I think that they're gorgeous, him or her or whatever it is? Are we supposed to deny our own wants to try to reduce the stereotype? How does that work?
Let me ask you a question. Let's go back to the 80s and the 90s where we grew up. Name me a movie star female that was dark skinned other than Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. I'll wait.
Other than like the younger chicks, like what's her name from House Party?
We talking about
House
AJ
Party.
Johnson.
Yeah, AJ Johnson.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
AJ
okay.
Johnson is
Gotcha.
She was in
Like
Inkwell and she was in House Party. That was it.
Like I'm really thinking, like I'm like, damn.
I'm trying to wait. Like I say, I'll wait. I've done my research. Trust me.
So let's define dark. So we talking
about the bottom
two
row.
rows. The bottom
two
row.
rows.
Bottom
two rows.
Okay. I say well, no, Megan Good would
What about
fall.
Gabrielle Union?
Yeah,
that's not in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yes, she was.
No, she
2000.
She played in Bring It On.
She played in
Bring It On. She played in Bring It On.
But guess what she did? Hold on.
She also played in Deliver Us from Eva.
No, that was 2000s.
That's 2000s. Yeah.
She played in Bring It On, and guess what her hair was? Pressed like a motherfucker.
That bitch was laid down to the side.
She was laid down, hot fried, laid to the side. She was pretty and gorgeous, and guess what her hair was? She was permed down.
Yep.
Natural look wasn't in back then.
No, she ain't had no kinks.
That natural look didn't come in.
No shit like that.
That natural look didn't come in until school days.
No. And that was before that. School days, they didn't get no props like that because guess what? Even in school days, she told Lawrence Fishburne that she felt like he only messed with her because she was
dark skinned. Sister on the campus. Yep.
Come on now.
Yep.
Come on now. It get deep.
It did good for his.
It get deep.
For his profile.